warm welcome to all of you as we begin our second session. Thank you so much for joining. And this panel is really something very interesting for you. We are going to talk about designing in the new age and are you future ready? So, I think a relevant question for most of us here, and we're going to talk about what does the future of design really demands, and we are also going to talk about what lies ahead and how we are really going to design solutions that are meant for the new tomorrow. So today I have with us Dhruva Paknikar. He is the founder at Dominix Inc. US, and he brings global lens to design strategy and innovation. He has done branding for some of brands like Mercedes, even in the, of course, in the healthcare and the automobile sector. Then we have Chandan Mishra. He's the co-founder and chief design officer at Hotcup, a Codita studio. He merges AI technology with creativity to really deliver cutting edge design solutions. And then we have Vrishali Kekre Deshmukh. She's the design director at Dare for Design, where she really works very closely with the packaging in the design industry with human centered designs that balance purpose and functionality. So, a really warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. I know your schedules are really, really busy, so we appreciate having you all here. So I think we are going to keep this panel very, very interactive, and of course, we have certain set of questions that we have for the panel, but we are going to keep last 10 minutes so that you all can ask your questions. So why don't we just begin with a quick round of introductions? Of course, I have done that a little bit, but there's a lot more to it, and we would like to hear from each one of you about your journeys and how you all got into design and what you all are doing today. So maybe we'll start with Dhruva.
Oh,
Thank you.
um, so I have the youngest design journey, I guess, in the three of us in the panel. I graduated from MIT Institute of Design with a twinning program with Strat College Design in Paris. Here, MIT, I did industrial design as a major, and in Paris, I did uh, branding and strategy as a major. And I got a chance to work with from the institute. I got to intern with a few good names like Rolex and Calvin Klein and all these kind of guys in London. I was there for a while. Then I came back to India. I worked on a completely different project altogether. I worked with space architects to for the Magarpatta planning kind of a thing. So we did the communication grid planning for Magarpatta city, and then I went to the US in 2015 to work with one of the most influential designers called Karim Rashid. There, I did almost 42 projects across 12, 13 countries. And one of the projects was Pepsi, the whole rebranding exercise that they did. We had a huge role to play with the campaigns and the rebranding exercise. And I was the part of the team that designed and built the Temptation Resort in Cancun in Mexico, which is one of the most one of the best adult resorts in the world. In 2016, I came back. I wanted to start my own business, and I came back to India. Um, Having a vision of a holistic kind of an approach toward design. In college and institutions, we are taught about various disciplines. Product design is different, graphics is different, UI UX is different, and all these things. So I believe to the core that the design thinking is same everywhere. So why not expand into multiple things? So right now we are doing a lot of destination projects, UX projects. We did work with Mercedes, as she told, GTLS platform. We designed that, the global training and learning system for Mercedes, the internal branding of Johnson and Johnson, and so on and so forth. Right from local brands like Chitale Bandhu to good international brands, we have worked with on various different aspects altogether, and that's the journey that has been so far. So off to
Wonderful. Uh, Prashali, why don't you?
So, I'm Vrishali. I did so long ago, 22 years ago, I did my undergraduation from JG Institute of Applied Arts in Bombay. And then I did my post-graduation from NID in Ahmedabad, both in graphic design and communications. Then I started, so as part of the NID curriculum, you have to do a industry project at the end of it. So that was done in Pune, and then I kind of fell in love with the city. It's a nice city to fall in love with. And we started a design consultancy here in Pune about 16, 17 years ago. It's called Therefore Design. And what we do essentially is, like Dhruv said, design is essentially cross-functional. So we have 4 founders. One of us is a product designer, again from NID. And we have a product design vertical. We have a graphic design vertical, which does mainly FMCG brands, packaging design, branding. We also have space design. Of recently, in the last 2-3 years, we've decided to kind of start focusing, and we mainly focus on FMCG brands trying to transform their branding through packaging design. And over the course of 15-16 years, we have worked with brands like Godrej, Gadre, Haldirams, mostly the food industry. But one of the things that I've realized and what safeguarded us is that food industry is something which will definitely be physical. It's going to have physicality to it. So that's something that's held us together, and that's where we are focusing this year.
Lovely. Chandan, please.
Hello, hey guys. So I am probably the only one who comes from the virtual world. I've done mostly software design from mobile, desktop, native applications, AR, VR, and I come from a computer science background. So all the AI thing that is happening right now is something that I'm very excited about. I know there's a bunch of fear as well, but since I am closely associated with the area where the action is happening, I have more confidence than fear at this point in time. Right, so been in the industry since 12 years now, and have been working as a co-founder at Coditas. We are a 800 people software development company. We focus on end-to-end solutioning when it comes to software. I don't know how many of you here are aware of, in general, software stuff. Anybody has started dabbling with ChatGPT at least? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, some of you have started dabbling. Yeah. So that comes from my world. Through Coditas, I've worked with very large customers, including JPMC, Gojek, IDFC, SDFC, a lot of multinational healthcare companies, Mayo Clinic. I don't know if you guys would know, but Mayo Clinic is one of the largest healthcare company based out of US. We have Ambry Genetics as a customer, who is part of Konica Minolta, Japanese company. So I've seen the entire length and breadth of how software is designed and how to actually design for human beings, having accessible experiences, and in general, touching each and every aspect of our lives, right? So if you guys have used any of the software, there is a huge effort that goes on building it, bringing it to life, and making sure that your lives are easy. And that is what I focus on. Right now, we have spun off the design vertical of Coditas, which we are calling Hotcup. Hotcup.design is the website where we are again going after human-centered, AI-first kind of experiences. And pretty excited about the future. Pretty excited to be here today. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think you all come with such wealth of knowledge that we're really, really grateful to have you guys here. I mean, Vrishali, you and Dhruva both are core design, of course, done so many different things. And Chandan then comes from a pure technology kind of a background, but still, delivering design solutions and using that human-centered approach to deliver technology. I think that's brilliant how the intersection of technology and design kind of comes together. So I think my first question would be, Dhruva, to you. And you have worked across US and India, and I don't know how many more countries. So how do you really see a role of a designer really evolving in the age we are in? I mean, all of us are dependent on AI for a lot of things.
Correct.
So how do you see the role evolving as we go along?
So when I was doing my graduation, our core focus while studying in India was problem solving. So we have a lot of third world problems which are meant to be solved by designers, and that was the core focus of the entire education system. When I was studying in France, in Paris, majority of the focus was on aesthetics, on style, on the elements, materials, and how things can be made something like iconic. Correct. So that was the major focus from my education perspective. I learned a lot at Karim's as well. So Karim's main focus was in style, of course, but we did a lot of research about new materials, new age techniques of how to manufacture things in a completely new way. But overall, the American scenario is more capitalist than India. How to get business out of design, and that was the core quality of each part of the world. Of course, I visited a lot of countries. After that, I worked with a lot of designers, worked with a lot of clients from different countries, including Japan, European countries, Australia, and many more, even African countries for that matter. Um, so I realized every country or every place, it comes with bias or a history bias, if I might say. But the collective of all it is to majorly create something to impact the world. So I guess that's the underline, that what a designer does at the end of the day, it's he creates something to make the world a better place. So I guess that is
Wonderful.
the
I think that makes so much sense, right? I mean, we are here as designers to make sure that we have solutions for the future. And as Dhruva said, every country may have its own kind of underlined, equation in doing something. But at the core of it is how do we really make an impact and how we have solutions for tomorrow. So thank you so much for that. Next question, it's for Chandan. At Hotcup, you're working right where branding, designing, technology, everything is coming together. And you already spoke about AI and how it's influencing it. So, how do you really approach the way you design products? I mean, through AI.
So honestly, things are changing really fast in the software world, and there is no one single process. And that has been one of my issues with our traditional education, right? So the way I see a lot of new designers coming up is they think this is the formula. There is no formula. And once you are exposed to the real world problems, you realize the cracks in the process that was taught to you. So right now things are changing really fast, but the good news is for our world we are used to it. We have seen things change rapidly over the last 20-30 years now, so there's not something new. What I'm seeing right now is we are looking at become like technology becoming extremely integrated into our day to day, to a point where probably a decade down the line smartphones may become obsolete, or they may take a different shape altogether, right? um, then the designers, the kind of processes, the kind of mental model we have right now, how relevant it will be 2 years down the line, there is no guarantee, right? And that is extremely exciting, because I've always believed if you live in your comfort zone you don't grow, right? So here you are supposed to be, all the time on your toes. So you learn new things on a daily basis, sometimes technology, sometimes pure creativity. As Dhruva rightly mentioned, design thinking is something which kind of envelopes the entire design execution across all the industries, across function. And with AI we are seeing a flurry of tools coming up which help us simplify our research process, our interaction design process, prototyping process. And in fact, my team did a experiment a couple of months ago where we learned the amount of time it takes for us to do the things through AI versus non AI. We were able to do the same level of work in 30% of the time. Now, what does that translate to things? So let's say, so to simplify it, something which was taking us 100 hours to do earlier, we can now finish it in 30 hours. So what that means, right? For designers, it's important for us to understand that the world is not a limited place. There is unlimited amount, at least software. There's unlimited amount of software that can be built, and there's tremendous problem right from the signal that you see, which is on the road, rarely operational sometimes, to building social apps. How do you make sure people who are accessing social media, for example, how is it governed, how is it circulated in the right way to the right audience? A lot of moderation, safety, there are bunch of problems to solve. So there is no, बोलते हैं ना वो कमी नहीं है दिक्कतों की. There's a bunch of things for us to solve, and that's what we are pushing forward to. I believe design thinking will continue to be the guiding principle for a lot of work that we do across different industries, and things are going to become more and more integrated as and when we go.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. Our next question is for Vrishali. At Therefore Design, you bringing a strong strategic perspective. How do you really strike a balance between creativity and functionality at work? How do you really, you communicate the brand messaging to the people?
So this is not related to AI, I assume.
Yes, of course not.
Okay. So, one of the things I keep telling people when they hear of our name, which is Therefore, is everybody assumes, whoever I get introduced to, is that it must have started because 4 partners came together, and so it's such a cool name, Therefore. But really, that's not the reason for the name that we chose. It's because design is unlike art, which is open to an interpretation, or unlike art, where you expect the onlooker to take what they feel about it. Design is not like that. Design is intended for a specific purpose, and the solution, like he was saying, has to hit the mark in a way that it is intended to be. And hence, it needs to come from a place of strategy. It needs to come from a place of research. It needs to come from a place of consumer understanding, so that the creative solution, no matter how creative it is interpreted in the way that it needs to be, ultimately bringing sales or marketing or growth to a brand. So there is a very clear objective for anything you do in design. Creativity is a very hyped term. I have to tell you that everybody keeps talking about creativity, but uh, a small child doing something is also creativity, and a designer designing packaging design for Haldirams is also creativity. The difference between that is that when a designer designs for Haldiram, that creativity needs to have a strategic intent. So I don't see design, creativity, strategy, insight as different aspects. It needs to be completely homogeneous, and all the design that you do needs to stem from strategy. So that's one. And I know you didn't ask me about AI, but I'd like to kind of add a bit of it, is that strategy can never come from AI. Because there is a bit of cultural context, there is a bit of psychology context, there is a bit of human understanding which needs to be incorporated into your system to be able to bring an insight which will give you a design solution which is relevant. So that's strategy for you. And ultimately, speaking about the overall context of balancing both of them, I think now in the age of AI, strategy would be almost 75% of the heavy lifting, because that's will dictate the direction. And like he's saying that the actual skill part is now 30%. So the design or the creativity part, once you have told or you're very sure of what you want as a strategy, your 30% will be the creativity, which will ultimately come out as the visual manifestation.
Lovely. That again brings us back to how important design thinking is, and how important it is that we know our audience well, to get to that strategy and then eventually to deliver that product or that branding or whatever tech product that you're doing. So I think we are talking about design thinking a lot. So maybe why don't you like shed some light on what students could, I mean, it's really a difficult question maybe, but I just thought I should ask, how do students really develop those habits, or how do they really start at a young age, um, to train their mind to perhaps start looking at how, I'm not able to put it correct,
So,
but yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
So interestingly, I also run a school. I come from a city called Chhatrapati Shambhaji Nagar. It's been recently renamed. It used to be called Aurangabad, and I run a school. It's a 10th till 10th standard, and one of the things I keep telling all the faculty and the teachers and everything is about empathy.
Correct.
And empathy is something, and design thinking, don't get me wrong, is not just about designing. Design thinking needs to be applied across any kind of stream or career that you do, because whether it's developing a software, whether it's developing a space, whether it's developing a simple label for a packaging, or whether it's actually developing healthcare solutions or insurance solutions, it's about keeping a user in the center, right? It's design thinking is nothing but looking at a problem from the user's perspective. It's not like a rocket science. It's about just saying that when I'm making a bottle for, let's say, Dhruv, then I'm going to look at Dhruv as a person and seeing what is it that he's going to take from the bottle and why is it that it'll be useful for him. And that's true for anything. And that can only come from being very, very tuned into empathy. It can come from a space of understanding where that person is coming from. And I think when we start young, and it's irrespective of whether you're doing design or design as a career, empathy should be part of education as such. And that's what will make you a better designer.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that.
I think Dhruv
Correct.
wants to add to that.
Yeah. So that is the core. What she said is the core of all the things while you're designing something, or while in the future all the students will be doing in their respective jobs. What I usually tell my team to do two things. One is to improve the vastness of your understanding and knowledge for any given. So it may be a small screw, or may be a large 1500-acre property. Um, uh, that thing we call in Marathi as vyasang. तुमचा व्यासंग किती मोठा आहे. So that kind of has a high level approach towards what you're designing, and तुम्ही किती चोख काम करता, or what is the detail in which you're working. So one vertical and one horizontal, if you align those things properly and have empathy in the center, of course, you'll get the complete you'll add value. That's I guess what will happen.
Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think they have already covered most of it. But one tip that I would like to share, and something that I have deployed on myself as well as I've gone about my journey, focus on practicing. Like, it's a simple formula. If you look at it, the amount of hours you put practicing what you have to do is going to be is going to have a compounding effect. Something that I keep telling my team. I remember I was mentoring someone, and this person comes and tells me, I have 3 years of experience. There's somebody else who has 2 years of experience. That person is making more money than I am. And I asked this person, what's your practice schedule like? And he goes like, I reach office 9 a.m., come back to home at around 7, and then I do random things. And I ask him, okay, do you know the schedule of the other person? He says no. Then I looked at the portfolio, and it was absolutely clear that the other person was putting in much more efforts on building his portfolio of work than this person was. So I think I think all of you have not yet entered the world of professional careers yet. Again, making an assumption, I think some of you may be there already. But I keep telling this to my team. The real growth doesn't happen between 9 to 5. It happens between 4 a.m. and 9, and then 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. That is where the real growth happens. So focus more on building your strength, practicing as much as you can. Forget about everything else, and know that just like education system, the professional world as well is going to give you like a structure that you can learn from, but the real growth is going to come from, the rubber hitting the road, right? Your hands hitting the keyboard for that matter, right? So, or whatever career that you may decide to go ahead with, focus there and things will be great.
Like this next question, when you are hiring candidates, what are you really looking for in the portfolio? I mean, here we also have students who would be kind of going in for their masters or even undergraduate studies, and most of the colleges would require a portfolio. So, what is it that one thing that probably they should keep in mind, or maybe when they go ahead, what employers like you are looking in it?
In fact, interestingly, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a workshop at our office for like open workshop for designers on building portfolios. And it's very complicated, honestly. But again, addressing the people who are here in the early stage of a career, treat your portfolio as well, as a kind of a design problem. I see a lot of people just dumping what they have done into a PDF or Behance page, or wherever you plan on hosting it, but they forget that their portfolio is the first design touch point. So if you don't structure it well, if you don't include the right details into it, if you're not able to communicate how you're thinking as a designer, it's extremely difficult for us to hire. So I'll give you stats, numbers, right? Numbers are closest to gods. To hire one designer, we interview 100 people. That's our hiring ratio. Interview. I'm not talking about screening. For one job position, entry level, I had made one LinkedIn post, I remember, in November last year. Just from my post, I'd got 800 people applying. 800 people applying. And I take a pride that I respond to every email, especially people who are, trying to crack into the world of design. I do spend time, sometimes my weekends, and go through it and respond in whatever way I can, so that you're not ghosted. But the volume of applications that we get is very, very high. Now, I will give you one very practical tip, and this is coming from somebody who cracked into one of our extremely difficult job openings and then did really well. Now he has moved on to MasterCard very recently. His job application was 2 lines in my LinkedIn inbox and a small video, like a 1-minute video, where he had just pulled up one of our portfolio items and we had very nicely shared what he thinks we can do better. Now, in that 1-minute video and the 2 lines of message, and there was no resume attached, by the way, there was no PFA, my portfolio. Literally, like, hey, Chandan, came across your website. I think you guys are doing a bunch of cool things. By the way, I'm a designer looking for an opportunity, and I'm attaching a video that you can watch to understand how I think. Now, in that video, I was able to learn about his confidence, presentation, communication, and how he thinks. 1-minute video, right? And can anyone guess? In the last 12, I've been hiring since last 12 years. I've hired hundreds of designers across all the startups that I've built. Can anyone guess how many people have sent me a 1-minute video of introducing themselves? Last 12 years, how many? Exactly. There's just one person, and that person's name was Rohit. He is a design manager at MasterCard right now. He recently moved there. Just one person, right? And I would have, scanned through at least 5,000, 6,000 portfolios in my career. Just one person did that, and he got the opportunity. So being creative about how we approach getting into the industry itself is very, very important. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't know. People don't realize. I don't come from a formal design background. Probably there are programs around structuring your portfolios better. I don't know. But at least in our world, it's a really, really painful process, and just makes our hiring very inefficient a lot of time. I have ended up hiring a bunch of folks that I've regretted hiring. So that's that. That's that.
So again, stepping outside of your comfort zone. I mean, not following what the crowd is doing, but really that one person stood out because he decided to do something different than what others did. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Dhruva, what do you think? I mean, about portfolios. I think this is a question. Like even when we interact with students, they want to know what will really make it or break it. Yeah.
So one thing that even I made a 1 minute video to send to Karim Rashid, and I got selected there. Um, that apart, I believe that one thing very foremost, like nowadays I don't screen portfolios, my HR and my creative head does, but they always complain one thing, and even I have experienced that a few years back. Every portfolio, if you see, there is a PDF and there is written portfolio on it, almost every, right? And that is the most what do you call, scaled things which is there right now. So I'll talk about three things. One is you should be unique, and he rightfully mentioned it. It is a reflection of you, and everyone is a unique person. Not everyone wears a white shirt and a blue pant, that's it, correct? So it is a reflection of you, so it needs to be unique, and in any format. And these days there are so many formats which are available to you, even on websites, even on all the other channels as well. So the first thing will be unique, and that's what he mentioned. The second thing is, you are designers at the end of the day, so you should have the empathy while designing your portfolio as well. You treat your design portfolio as your own product. um, what is the who is the end user of your portfolio? Is the HR or the creative head, or uh, the head of design in a company? So what will he think? What will be his questions? How many portfolios are he's told the statistics? He's looking at 100 portfolios a day, or maybe 1,000 portfolios a day, correct? So make your portfolio that he would like, correct? He would relate with, he would, the companies would relate with, which where you want to apply. So that approach should be there in your portfolio. And the third thing is, now since the competition is there, is increased a lot. Just sending your portfolio won't work these days. You need to pitch. So you need to understand what the company does, align, if your thoughts are aligned with the company, then and then only you need to apply to that company. Then that company will see value in you, and how you can increase the value in the whole team, and as a company. So that is what you should be looking forward to do in whenever you are applying to any job profiles or anything anywhere.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Uh, I think I'll ask this question to Vrishali. You're leading an organization. You're working with so many different individuals. What are the top qualities do you think you look at when you're hiring freshers? Now, again, is a more professional sort of a question, but I think all of them are eventually going to start applying for their internships or jobs. So I think it's a very relevant question. What are interviewers really looking for when they are hiring?
So, something very interesting both of them said, which is something that we use as a layer of shortlisting in the first go. So, you receive a lot of portfolios or interviews or internships saying, "Dear all, please find my." What do you think is wrong with that? You have said very nicely, "Dear all, please find my enclosed so and so, so and so." Can anybody tell me what is wrong with that?
Stepping outside of your comfort zones.
Can anybody tell me what could be wrong with the very nicely, politely drafted mail which says, "Dear all, I am Vrishali Kekre. Please find enclosed my portfolio. I think of this and this is my work."
So specific to the person you had, it had to be addressed specifically to the company or to a person who you are sending your.
Absolutely. So, exactly. Exactly. Somebody send a 1 minute video of their work and kind of analyze something that they have done and said that I think this you can do better. He sent another video. I feel one of the things that we look at when we are hiring people is how much do they know us, and are they applying because there are 300 companies listed in their portfolio, whatever the academic roster, or they're applying because they've studied us and they've said, ki, okay, this is the kind of work I want to do, this is what interests me, and hence I want to apply to this company. So that's one. The first thing I know we screen for is that. The second thing we screen for, very interestingly, is beyond design. What is that person doing when, like he said, between 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. in the night? What other interest that person has? That becomes very, very critical for us, because empathy comes from having experiences. See, empathy comes from when you have learned to play a sitar and you know what pains a sitar learner has, and hence you can design something for a sitar learner. So empathy comes from when you have multiple experiences. So that's the other thing that we screen for. Second is that I'd like to tell everybody is that you see the same internet as we see. So when you kind of put things which are in the portfolio, which are similar to something else that is already there in the industry, we can make it out. And that's our third layer of screening. So we completely trash out plagiarized designs, and we don't even give them a call for interview, or we there is no second step to anybody who has plagiarized designs in their portfolio. So that's our third screening. And I think more than that, of course, the work kind of counts. So that's our third screening. And most often than not, what we look for is a cultural fit. I think skills now in the age of AI are absolutely either you can learn or you can kind of build over a period of time. And of course, there is a level of skill that you expect from somebody who comes in. But if they're not a cultural fit to the organization, then it becomes very difficult to do team exercises or team kind of work. So cultural fit is the other thing we check.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I think we are running short on time. There are a lot of questions that we had listed, and we would love to ask you all. But I think we have only 10, say about 7, 8 minutes to end this session. So we'd maybe like to, turn the mic to you guys. And if you all have any questions, please, we'll pass the mic around and you all can ask.
I hope I'm audible. Yes. So just a silly question to all of you, as we all talked about coming up with creative ways of doing things. Okay, as you said, do not make one. If somebody has made 1 minute video, everybody starts making it. Okay, so we updated the shortlisting process. So if suppose now Chandan's company is looking for one employee, one new hiring, and he thinks of we all made 1 minute video or some might made documentary or some other approach, and what if Chandan himself comes up with a creative way of listing everyone's name on chits and then just doing it randomly picking up one chit? How you'll answer that then? What we should, like, how that'll practically help the person who are having creativity?
So, so this episode that I described, somebody sending me a video, this happened 7 years ago. And since then till now, I have said the same story, probably in front of 1,000 people, if not more. How many people actually followed over and did that? 0. A lot of time what happens is we just absorb. I am a very firm believer in being a producer. Consume as much as you can healthily consume, but focus more on producing. That applies to what you give back to society, what you give back to your parents, to your life, to yourself, to the company you work with, anything that you do, right? So becoming slowly over a period of time, focusing on what am I providing, changing your outlook is what helps. But yeah, as I said, unfortunately, it sounds like people will take these unique tips and they will absorb it. It hasn't happened, at least not with me. And that is why I keep telling this story. I'm waiting for one more person to do that so that I can, next time I'm speaking in front of someone else, and if I ask this question, somebody will say 2 people and not 1, right? So that is what is happening. And the same thing applies to a lot of gyan that we share. I speak at a lot of places. people don't come back. I don't know if you guys know there's a platform called ADP List, which is basically a mentors platform. I stopped going to that website now. Right? Spend some time there. People would turn up with very broad questions, right? As we also said. So if you are approaching someone, if you can't think of their perspective, you are failing at step one of being a creative person. Forget about being a designer, like being a human being, in fact. I will go to that extent. Being empathetic towards who you are. Like, so in a company, one of the most hated department is HR. And I would be lying if I say that even I did not have that outlook. Fortunately, 2-3 years ago, for whatever reasons, I started working with them very closely. And then I started understanding what they go through on a daily basis. 5 people coming to their cabins crying, मेरा loan नहीं हो रहा है, मुझे work from home चाहिए, I need 1 month off, I need to pay a loan that my father had taken, all sorts of issues. And can you imagine being that person? Right? So it's just being a cop who stand, like all of us, अरे ये पुलिस वाले क्या कर रहे हैं? Right? Imagine being them, like one day in their life, right? Yes, I do understand there are a bunch of gaps in our societies, in all of us, but it just helps. It gives you a mental frame to look at things the right way. In my experience, every time we have worked with the customer, for example, in a professional setup, every time I've gone with a very broad blanket, paneer tikka masala type of recipe, it hasn't worked. So I've worked with customers who want their work done in 1 week. I need it by tomorrow. I've heard all of it, and I'm sure, all of us have. And the first reaction is, I can't do that. That's just unfair expectation. But when you dig deeper, why do you want this? Why do you need it in a week, in 2 weeks, in a day? Then you start realizing, okay, this is the reason. It gives you something to justify the pain that you're going through, right? So from a shortlisting standpoint, I would say what I described is one way. As I said, hasn't been repeated. I'm waiting for someone to repeat it. I don't know if anyone of you want to do it. And the second thing is, as I said, treating your application process at itself as a creative problem. As Vrishali also mentioned, I've got an email saying, "Dear ma'am," right? I have not taken offense, of course, but as she was describing, right, I have not taken the pains to understand who this person is. Mera naam hai Chandan, right? So I don't think it's a gender neutral name, but common sense. And for that, you don't have to be an entry level person or 10-year experienced person, or from this industry, that industry. These are common sensical things. If you just plug that, you will be ahead of 50% of the rest of the population, right? So that's there.
Any other question?
Till now, when all the conversations have taken place, it was under the general consensus that AI is going to be integrated into your industry. I want to know from all of you how.
Do we have to us? It's very much integrated, and it's moving so fast that it's getting integrated more and more, and it's just making things much faster. I have a very nice partner in our work environment. I wouldn't call him a vendor. He's somebody that we kind of outsource some of our work to. He essentially, about 10 years ago, used to help us in something called cutting out and cleaning an image. So when you do work which is for 100 things, like if you're doing like a bulk mass kind of work and you have 100 images to process, you don't have the teams to do that. So you generally kind of give it out to people. These kind of work gets much faster in this whole AI system, this thing that somebody is cutting an image, cleaning it, cropping it, and giving it to you. These are the things which where you get integrated. The second thing that most often than not is that creative process is, as much as it is driven by strategy, etc., there is a level of subjectivity to it. It is more about the founder's liking or the client's liking, and there is a whole lot of preferences that come along when the decisions are getting made. That has become faster because now we do a lot of rough boards, kind of capturing ideas for people to accept and then move on to the final solution. So work is getting faster. I think the biggest thing that AI has helped us do is to speed up.
So AI is going everywhere. From your basic systems to your creative process systems. So there are so many tools of AI doing so many things. It's basically expanding. So if we say it's a 40 people, 50 people company, with AI bots, with every person, it can become a 500 people company. And there are many people who are saying, and it will be true, I believe, that the first $1 billion company, one person run, will be in the next few years with AI. So till now it's basically eliminating people, but it's also empowering people to use those things and make their armies bigger. So even personal armies, if you can do 10 people's jobs, or you can do 20 people's jobs at one time, that is what AI is basically empowering that person to do. On the other hand, it is taking jobs from other people as well. So if, for example, let's say there are 100 people, and if we look at it in a negative way, that only 20 people will do 100 people's jobs, or only 5 people will do 100 people's jobs, imagine how much 100 people can do if all those people have AI enablements in their systems. So that's where the speed comes in, and that's where the vastness of the work comes in. So maybe a lifetime of a studio, 30 years, 40 years maybe, that amount of work can be done in like 4 years by the new age studios.
Just one small thing I would like to add to it is the operational stuff that we were talking about, making use of AI tool to do our work better. The other side is the serving side of the thing. So there's a kitchen and there's a table. So the table is where a lot of opportunity also exists, right? This is where hyper personalization of content within edtech, within education technology. I understand who you are as a student. Now, how do I make sure that the right educational content is exposed to you, which matters to you in the moment of time, right? So both the worlds exist. In our side, we are exposed, and in our world, we are exposed to both. We are talking a lot about operational stuff, making use of tools to do our job better. But at the same time, there's another side of the world which also exists.
Okay, so my question was that what is the blueprint to design thinking and visualization,
Is there exactly? I think is there a
or what would be the way to do the right way to do the design thinking and visualization?
It's a process. So once you understand the process, once you go in depth in the process, practice it, you'll get better and better at it. I guess it's a combination of objective processes and subjective thought processes. So
one thing that you can do is probably again deal with it as a step to step manner. The first step will be awareness, and this is where you can do the readings to understand what is design thinking framework, what each of the phases say, what are the sub activities. And as soon as you observe and learn, immediately get into practice. And the beauty of design thinking is, as they were saying the moment ago, it can be practiced in anything, in your day-to-day being also, right? So that you're not going to be constrained by any resources as such. So start with building awareness, immediately get into practice, and then you'll be in a loop. You will learn, okay, one of the aspect from the awareness was not right, let me correct, come back, you practice again. That cycle repeats.
Lovely. I think this conversation was really insightful, and um, yes, there are more questions coming in, but we are running short of time. But I think Dhruva, Chandan, Vrishali, if you'd be like to be around for some time, maybe they could come up and ask the questions. But of course, we won't hold you back in case you all have other priorities. However, we are running short on time, and I think design thinking is something that was the highlight of this discussion. Of course, AI also was one of them. But then maybe we should have a session next time around design thinking, perhaps. I think, considering it's such an important topic. So we will keep that in mind when we come next time to Pune. But thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, to you all for coming and, sharing your insights with students. We have a small token of appreciation from our side. Like, great. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Our expo still continues and it will be on till 7. If you have any questions, you can approach them and ask. The recording will be available on YouTube in case you want to share it with your friends or otherwise. Thank you once again. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.